now.
Recording initiated.
Recording's initiated.
Q&A.
We're back.
We're
Happening.
Sav's back in the Corona socks. I just want to keep
I'm just trying to get that sponsorship.
pointing that out. Trying to point
We
that out.
are available for Corona socks sponsorships.
Yep. Tri's back in his. Actually, we do need an alcohol sponsor. We'll take you, Corona. Tri's back in his rainstorm hat.
I'm energizing up today.
Go Knowles.
Go Knowles. So when this comes out, you said like you'll be.
Yeah, I'll be a month into my Tallahassee adventure.
Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I went down last week. Saw the house. Met the girls. It was awesome.
Crazy.
It's just, I mean, I get to hang out with Nick every day. Nick and Brooke are awesome.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I was talking to actually ran into Brandy, and she was like, so you got that Florida big house living now, like 3-bed, 3.5 bath for the same price as our apartment now on a golf course. We'll take it.
Yeah, you're going to be fine.
Florida living.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You're built
It was time. 9 years out here, it was time.
Yet I'm still here.
You're still here.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But I can't move to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Tallahassee is for everyone. I think it's perfect for young parents.
Yeah.
I think that it is the perfect place for me and Dee right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like a 32-year-old single person,
Right.
wouldn't be great.
You guys don't need much, you know? You're kind of country life anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Some
think,
fresh air, a golf course.
dude, it's
some
so
good
green.
people. You're good to go.
I missed how green I missed green stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I go home and I just look, my brother's cracking
Bro, I
up.
got some AstroTurf right there.
And the fake plant. Right
I think I have the biggest yard in Hermosa Beach, too.
You might.
Potentially.
Dude, you have the biggest. I might have number 2.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
We have 3 squares of turf. That's the biggest yard. I tell you what, I didn't realize is how bad the South Bay smells this time of year. Because there's
a lot
so
of
much
alleys.
dog pee and dog shit,
Yes.
That's a good point.
and
Yes.
there's no rain.
I noticed that because my child's like, you know, and your kid's probably worse with it. Like, they're walking and they're like, oh, I'm going to play over here. I'm like, no, dogs pee on that.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Dogs pee all over that,
And
too.
Austin's
like,
barefoot all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you running in, kid?
Yeah.
It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But man, it poured for like 3 straight days in Florida, and which is still, it's novel to me still. So I was like, oh, this is great. And everyone's
Right.
like, ah, I hate this. I was like, man, it smells great. I just sat there on Nick and Brooks' little patio and read, and I was like, I could be out here for hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was.
Travis is doing fine. This is the premonition of a month later,
Yeah.
and we already know. He's been reading, playing golf, and
Yeah.
coaching. He's fine.
Coaching with the girls. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we're excited to see how it goes. And one question here is, what will SANDCAST look like when you're gone? Do you put much thought into? You're gonna get a studio? out
Yeah,
there?
I'll kind of make my own. We'll make our own little studio. That's one thing. When I talked to Brooke, when she offered me the job, I just asked her if I could still keep doing the podcast, and she was like, "I want you to keep doing the podcast because it's good exposure for the program." And so we're figuring out what it would look like. But yeah, I'll probably have a little because we'll have a spare bedroom, which is awesome, and we'll probably make a little office, little studio there. And then we've been developing new talent. So Kyle Friend probably going to step up on the show. You and Tri going to hold it down here.
Yeah.
You and Jaden maybe
Yeah.
starting up a little spin-off
Gonna
of
do
your
a
own, little college beach
something
coverage.
coming up next spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that I would have done a very good job as a co-founder of the podcast if the whole thing falls to shit if I leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been sort of preparing for me to
Fans are just
take a little step
bracing
away.
themselves. They're like, Tri's going to host? They're going to be all over the place.
I thought the one you did with Ruben and Leon was great. You and
yeah,
Kyle.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I had Kyle.
Hey,
Exactly.
it's teamwork.
I'm
Kyle's
just going to
so-
need
he's so
Savvy
good.
and Kyle, and we'll be golden.
Which actually, I was cracking up. So Kyle's coaching. He's the full head coach of the whole Miami Mayhem. He's coaching Trev and Theo, and he's coaching April and Alex. And I was like, Kyle is like me.
And
kind
he's
of.
from Miami.
And he's
Near Miami.
Yeah, but he's a big Miami Heat guy. But Kyle's a way better player than I was, and now he's doing commentating, and now he's getting into the podcast, and he's coaching. It's like, Kyle, you're turning into like Trav 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Except he brings like a different I don't know, a different perspective. So I think Kyle's going to be great at it. I think he's perfect for it.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So Kyle will be here a lot more. Sav, I think you'll probably be on the mic a little bit more.
Love to be.
Yeah. So we're just trying to expand.
We're going with the flow. And we're just letting the universe of sandcastles just build themselves.
Yeah.
SANDCAST told.
Yeah, and so we are stacking up episodes right now.
Yeah.
So this one's probably going to drop in November, and we're recording it, September 19th?
Yeah. We can also do Zoom as well. We used to do a lot of Zoom episodes, which comes out with good audio, and we can put them up on YouTube as well. So all the options are available.
Yeah, but as we've done for 7 straight years, we're winging it.
Yes.
Gonna wing it and
That's
see
when
what
we're
works
at our
and what
best,
doesn't.
people.
Yeah.
You guys are really good at that.
We have been building this plane in the air for 7 years now. We're still flying.
And doing pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, we're hanging in.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So you got the pod, you got the writing, now you've been coaching, but now you're taking a different coaching role.
Yeah.
College coaching. So are you looking to make someone asked, are you looking to make a career as a head coach in college, or are you again kind of just seeing where this assistant coaching job takes you?
It's a good question. I don't know, because I think right now a second assistant is the dream job for me. Because over the summers, so being a head coach of a collegiate program is so much administrative stuff, and it's not actually that much coaching. Whereas right now, like me and Nick are kind of the on-sand coaches. And Brooke is there too, and she does a lot, but she does so much of the administrative stuff that you have to do, and that's not my strong suit yet. But man, I was down there for a week, and I freaking loved it. And so I think it could be, but I was actually listening to a Gervais podcast with Gabby Reese this morning, and he described it really well. A mentor of his says, Michael, you're going to ride a lot of horses in your career, and some of them are going to be donkeys and some of them are going to be stallions, and just hang on to the stallions. And I've ridden a lot of horses, so to speak, where it's been writing, podcasting, playing, coaching, whatever. And I think that coaching and commentating are probably the 2 stallions that I could go through, and they're 2 that I can do at the same time.
Yeah. And also, I've seen a lot of head coaches over the years. You'll surround yourself with staff that complement you, right? If you are that coaching kind of coach, then your assistant will probably take care of. You'll bring in someone who's good at that administrative stuff and fills in those gaps. So I think you can really customize it. You're going to find a lot of different types of head coaches. You might bring in a Loyola to UCLA. We're like, you're not expecting Loyola to come in and do administrative stuff. That guy's going to do volleyball. And I think that's probably what it would have to be, right? If you took over a program. I think about it for myself as well. Yeah. I don't see myself doing it anytime soon, but maybe.
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, there's so many programs starting, and I think that there will be opportunities, but I think Florida State's going to be so great because I get to learn from Brooke, who has been the head coach of the only program to make every single national championship in the sport's history. And I get to learn from Nick, one of the best defenders of all time and definitely of our generation. And so if I were to want to become a head coach, it's because Brooke and Nick would have mentored me in such a way.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now it's just dabbling in those waters. Yeah. I'm stoked on it.
So stoked. And Tri, what is your off season? I know we're both kind of the alternates, but while Trav's out there crushing the new job, what's your off season kind of looking like this year? If it's different than most, or challengers, no challengers. We got those late ones in November. So
still trying to kind of figure it out.
Coming out in November, so I don't know. We'll see.
It'll be an off season.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out a little bit. Obviously reserved for the league. I'm going to show up to half those events. But number one thing, I think, aside from family and checking the boxes in terms of priorities, I got a kid coming in January, so that's a whole new me that's going to come out next year. So I'm kind of just leaving that open. But I just want to get back to, I think my personal level of volleyball has maintained high, but I haven't been able to put together the team and the whole package together. It's been high stress. It's been like fighting. I've been swimming upstream a lot. So for me, it's just a matter of like getting everything flowing in the same direction. And I don't think there's a definite answer. I'm kind of letting that come to me, but get stronger, fix any injuries. Been dealing with some stuff. So I'm working with a specialist and some PT right now. And I think that's the most important, just getting my body strong and ready and like taking advantage of this time off and building that hunger back. Right now it's like a fire, like I'm kind of pissed off at what happened. I think that's a good thing, at missing the league. But I think taking advantage of this time and just, you know what, this year I'm going to use this break at the end of the year to my advantage and come back even stronger next year. Yeah. That's kind of how the best way that I've found to use any of these challenges, I guess, is just make sure you use it and come back stronger. And then in the long run, you're like, actually kind of glad that happened. Yeah. And I'm just kind of thinking of this time as one of those, but also like time of positivity and great things and great energy that's coming my way with the new family and all that. Changes and all that.
Yeah, Gabby looks amazing with the little dog.
She does. Yeah.
Cute. Out there crushing all over DIY stuff at the same time.
I have time for more content and stuff. I want to do some fun like off-season stuff as well. Yeah. Make some content, do some fun stuff, get in the ocean. Yeah. But it's cool to actually be at events and watching. It hurts, but I can engage with fans. I can talk with business people, sponsors, the tour. I can watch the game and really study it. It's hard for me to watch when I'm playing. I just hate it. I just don't even want to I'm not cheering for. I don't want to cheer against people, so I don't want to watch. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. But right now I can neutrally just sit back and really study the game. I want to see it with a bird's eye view and then come back into it with more intention. So that's it. Yeah. That's the Tri-Tide way.
Tri-Tide, I like that.
Just take advantage of whatever your cards are dealt.
Yeah. Well, Seth, what's your off season look like? Are you going to do the challenges in the fall or the elites? There's 2 elites too.
Yeah, trying to figure that out now. There's one elite that's during the Newport 4-man that I'll be playing in, and then there's the one that's the beginning of November in Rio, and that kind of goes into those 3 challengers: China, India, Philippines, all kind of back to back to back. And then me and Evan just committed to a volleyball vacations in Mexico. Those SOB volleyball vacations.
Shout out Tom Davenport.
Shout out Tom Davenport. He's the best. After those tournaments, so it could be kind of a long couple of weeks, but Abby's in Hawaii, like crushing life. She's in Kauai right now, just
sick.
living it up. So I texted her this morning, haven't heard back, just to kind of plan that type of stuff, because I don't want to wait to book those flights if we're going to do those things. But I think it would be like Rio straight to China, which would be a really shitty travel. Straight to India, straight to Philippines. So that's just like picking and choosing what we want to do, because right now that's the plan. Like, I'm taking some time off right now after all of that, and hopefully getting my mind right and my body right to play those. I think it may, like you said earlier, like may be a blessing in disguise to be taking this time off to feel refreshed and energized to be doing those events. And if at that time I'm not refreshed and I don't want to go, then I don't go. You know what I mean? But it is a good opportunity to get some points and then just some wedding planning. That's kind of the next step. We haven't done a ton.
Babies and weddings.
But yeah, all fun stuff.
All fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, looking forward to that. But I was going to mention earlier, you mentioned the watching the game. I forgot to talk about this on the other podcast, but it's if you look at it like this, it could be an advantage, you sitting and watching and scouting and like checking out the new format, but also like just watching your opponents. Like
it was for me.
Abby the whole time was like, oh, look at this, she does this, and this serve works well against this team. So that was kind of an interesting, like, we didn't we didn't really want to be there, like, because we're not like cheering for or against anyone. Right. We just we're lucky to be there. We're happy to be the alternates, but it is like bitter. It's like bitter watching it, but if you look at it from a different perspective, you could gain a lot from being there. So
and
exactly. I am such a believer in visual reps now.
Yep.
And Delaney was telling me, because I was really I was nervous before Hermosa. I was like, I just don't want to embarrass myself because I haven't played volleyball in like a year. I'll jump into practice every now and then, and Delaney's like, "You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine." And played skill wise, I think I was actually better, even though I hadn't practiced at all. I was just really out of shape, by beach volleyball standards. So I think watching. And I think it's different because as a coach and a commentator, you're not just watching.
You've watched it. You've talked through it. You've watched and visualize what you want your player's technique to be. So, mentally, there's none of that.
I'm a huge believer in it. So I think, if you're there watching, I think you can get so much better if you watch it actively.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's you gotta just have the right mindset.
Yeah,
because it's different. Like watching live is so different than watching film. Because when you watch film, you can go back and look at certain little cues. When you're watching live, it's a little bit different. But
I'm definitely going into these events as a reserve with intention. I'm not trying to fly across the country just to hang out and
to
be
mingle.
There. Mingle. I actually part of that intention is to connect with the fans and it'd be fun to sit with them and watch matches. But no, I'm trying to I'm there with intention for sure to build the ship back up to what I want it to be.
Yeah. Switching gears, did you hear that they added a futures event in Florida?
Yeah, Pompano.
Okay, so why have there not been any FIVB? Someone asked, why was there no U.S. Elite 16? Do you think there's an advantage because the wild cards for the host country teams and we never have any FIVB? So what do you think about this?
Anytime there's a question of why hasn't this happened, the answer is almost always money.
Yeah.
Elite 16s are just preposterously expensive to put on. It's awesome that there's futures in Pompano. Sent that straight to the Florida State group chat. Yeah. I was like, this is such a good opportunity. Yeah. It's driving distance. You will never find easier or cheaper points. But to the other point of, is it an advantage for host countries with wildcards? 1,000%. You have Brazil putting on 4 Elite 16s a year, and they can wildcard young teams in to get points in the qualifier and the main. But a futures is great because you get 4 main draw wildcards. Yeah. And so you can get a lot of these really talented college players with 0 points, and you can get them on a fresh start with pretty much free points. It's amazing. And I'm actually hoping, because we're getting a new facility at Florida State, and I really want to host a futures there. I think it would be really cool. And so, big ideas. Planting seeds, manifesting.
Do your thing.
Yeah. So, I think it's sweet that there's one in Pompano.
Yeah, that'll be right after this comes out. It's December
5th through 8th.
Yeah.
I'll be in Doha, actually.
Is it
for the World Tour Finals, or Beach Pro Tour Finals, but
Very cool. Any elite blockers in the pipeline for the U.S. seems to be plenty of defenders. I guess that could go for men and women.
What do you think for you got?
Well, on the men's side, it's kind of opposite, right?
Young Oleg.
Yeah, exactly.
Derek Bradford.
That's what I was thinking. Young Oleg. There's Derek Bradford's physically very elite. I don't think there's any other. He's 18? 17, 18-year-olds
like
built like him.
6'9".
Yeah, 6'9".
Jump setting.
He's got hands.
Is he jump setting?
Yeah. Smooth.
He talks like this.
Yeah.
I can't even go that deep.
Derek.
I mean, there's certainly talented players, but I think they're saying there's a lot of good blockers. Wait, did they say there's a lot of good blockers?
They're saying there's a lot of good defenders.
Are there any good
blockers?
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
It's coming up the pipeline.
Derek is the only one I can think of.
People that aren't in the league kind of thing.
I mean, Cody Caldwell, I think, could develop into an elite talent internationally if he wants to block.
Yeah.
James Shaw.
Yeah.
Newer ones.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think James I think is the most ready.
Yeah.
To make that jump.
Yeah. I mean, the dude's big. I didn't realize how big James is. He's 6'8".
Massive, dude. Yeah, 6'8". He's long.
Long,
jumps
big.
well.
He's obviously got hands.
Mm-hmm.
Good serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jamesy and down the road, Derek Bradford.
Gotcha.
What do we see on the women's side?
Well, the women's so different because all of the top players are so young. So it's like, it's so crazy to think, like, you know, Taryn Cloth, like we're a couple of years out of college and stuff. So they'll be around, Taryn and Brandy and Kelly, and like they'll all be around for a long time. I think that with the women's side, it's going to get tricky. You have people like Julia Scholes and even like Tony Rodriguez, like they would love to like split block.
Yeah.
And that's like tough as a
What
defender.
if they team
I'm
up
like,
and
get
split
the
block
F
together?
out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of here. You're already such good blockers. Like, stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away from me and Haley, and like we're all just like, frick, like, but it was fun to
I'm
see
right there
Julia
with them.
Scholes and exactly. It was fun to see Julia Scholes and Tina Gradina split blocking in Hermosa.
Yeah.
that was cool to see. But yeah, we were talking about the Rookie of the Year and Most Improved Player, and for the women, I think Devin Sowers had such a great season. She's based in New Orleans, so I think she's an up and coming one. She rips. Zolani Hodel is so good.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
Zolani's for real.
Yep, and she's that height too that like she could split block with someone like Lexi Denenberg. Like all of these girls are that kind of tweener height where like they're undersized on the world tour, but Lexi was like the block leader in Manhattan or something crazy, and she's. I don't even think she's 6 foot. So
Yeah, probably 6 foot on the money.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And your own partner.
Interesting. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm biased, but I think Abby.
I think Abby's legit.
I think she's playing so well.
Abby's proven it at this point. Yeah. Done it enough against enough elite teams.
She's playing really good, and I think only has room to grow. Her ball control is so good already, and I think she can only improve with like the blocking stuff and like obvious, but I'm biased. Like I'm really excited to see where she goes.
Me too. Team Rainstorm. Let's
go. Talking about Derek and his jump setting, Lindsay Sparks, my girl, she's going back for another year at
So it's
Cal
great to
Poly.
see her back on the
she's
sand.
best.
She's a jump setter,
Yeah, she's a stud.
And just
She's-
the best.
and like
poke.
selling it. Like people are jumping on her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she's good. And Todd's done a great job at Poly. The offense that a lot of his girls run, it's very dynamic.
Yeah.
It's good.
Cool.
Yeah, her and Piper Furch, she played with Lindsay, and she also played with Molly Shaw a bit this season. They played Kylie DeBerg and Haley Harward, and I think their offense, it's literally like jumps at every time and like pokey. They can poke in each corner, they can shoot in each corner.
Yeah.
Lindsay does the weirdest stuff, and I think playing like a Kylie DeBerg or Tarrant, like any of the tall blockers, like I mean any blocker for that matter, like playing a team like that is got to be so irritating. I remember watching a little bit of that game and Kylie and Haley getting so frustrated because Lindsay and Piper are just like so unconventional. They're jump setting all the time and like optioning some, but Lindsay asked how much longer will bump setters exist, and what changes do you hope to see in the women's game in the coming years? And I think it'd be cool to see more women jump setting. I think the men is totally going that direction, but Lindsay is like setting the foundation. She's one of those girls, Kim Hildreth, like setting the foundation for the jump setting, which is cool to see.
Yeah. I feel like the changes we see on the women's game it's like a 3-year lag from what the men's game does. So the men's game, we started seeing a ton of options and dynamic stuff with Cantor and Wozniak. And then a couple years later, we started seeing women's start to tinker with that. And now jump setting is, very popular on the men's side now. And I think we're starting to see select teams experience, like Therese Cannon, jump setting now. Kelly Chang's jump setting a little bit.
Yep.
Stam and Schoon kind of messing around with that stuff a little bit. So I think that there's that 2-year to 3-year lag, and that now I think we're going to see a lot more women's teams start to pick it up, especially since all the college coaches were basically former professional players who follow that, and they look at what's working at the world tour level, and they bring it to the college level. And now all these college girls are coming in and qualifying for AVPs and bringing it. And like you said, it's a nightmare for a Kylie or like a Pavin, a Stam, all these really big blockers. And I think the men's game went huge and the women's game went huge. Now the men's game is getting smaller and faster, and now the women's game, I think, is going to get smaller and faster.
Yeah. It's cool to see. And I don't know, bump setting, like Who still bumps? Sarah Hughes is like a super high level bump set. Like who else?
It depends on your hitter, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a high up and down, like I could survive with a bump setter. I think with the way the sets that I like, but. I mean, you got to think it's evolving out of the game for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, old school people.
Christian Storm.
Bump.
Christian Storm's still never been called on a double in his life.
Really?
Never handsets.
Well, isn't he kind of handsetting a little bit more now?
I haven't seen
Someone
it in a
put
match.
it, maybe not a match.
When
but
you just got to throw it
Green.
somewhere up there above the net.
Yeah.
You know, why risk it? Just throw it somewhere up there.
Yeah. But bump setters are becoming an endangered species for sure.
I know. Which team will have its breakthrough next season on the World Tour?
You start. I need to get my juices flowing on this question.
Let me think. For
Hold on.
women.
Okay, go ahead, women. Wait,
Daniela Alvarez and Tanya Moreno. I don't know if they've already broken out. That's a team.
I think they kind of have.
Anouk and Zoe.
Yeah.
New partnership.
Yes.
That could be interesting.
Are they splitting or who's?
I think Anouk would run up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I just saw that.
Anouk's crazy. What Anouk's been able to do, she's made the Olympics as a right-sider, as a left-sider, as a blocker, as a defender, and as a split blocker.
She's been to 3.
That's crazy. Yeah, she went to 2 with Joe.
That's cool.
And 1. God,
That's
I forget
really
who she
cool.
went to with in 2016. Yeah.
That's kind of like my, ideally, if I could like paint out how I want to do it, I'd just do everything.
Yeah,
one of each would be great.
I think that's the mark of a true
volleyball player.
You can do everything. Yeah. Like I think Anouk, Tina, Gradina, I think she'll probably do something like that. I mean, it's funny to say it from the American side. I mean, that's Trevor. Yeah. Trevor's kind of done it right, left, block, defend, a little splitty with you.
Yeah.
It's been high level wherever. We veered away from the question. I don't know. Breakout teams off the top of my head.
That's tough. Because there's
so many.
Switch-ups.
Well, my thing is the season's not over and we don't know all the partner changes. My question to pose on that question would be, what partner changes are we going to see? And are there going to be mix-ups? I was looking at the men's side. I was like, the top American teams actually have been doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. Like they've had some success, right? But there's been weird like dynamics where you're like, are they sick of each other? Like, are they, for sure, Trev and Theo's easily a question mark. Miles and Chase, I don't know. I have no idea.
No one knows if
Miles and Andy are like, it sounds like the motivation. Like, is this guy gonna do the Tolly and just go become an electrical engineer or something all of a sudden? I don't know. For me, there's a lot of questions. I'm like, I actually don't know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if none of them switched, and I wouldn't be surprised if all of them switched. And from the girls' side, I feel like that could happen as well.
I think the men's side's interesting too. Like, which men continue to play on the World Tour as well. Like, I don't know. Like,
exactly.
Is Theo gonna keep going? Like,
Theo said he was gonna play in spite of USA Volleyball, just to get back in the stipend.
Did you see he signed up for the fall stuff with Bug?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which is genius for both of them to get back in the stipend.
Right.
One breakout player, Adrielson dos Santos on the men's side, I think is freaking good. Brazil.
He's the Brazilian guy. Was he out here in Hermosa, the blocker?
No, that was Pedro something, who's good. But Adrielson's been playing with Arthur, one of the many Arthurs.
Yeah.
And he's
Artur.
Dude, he's freaking
Evan
good.
Alison played against them.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Adrielson, if I had to pick a player, would be my breakout player.
Okay.
And the women's side, I'd have to think deeper on it. But the partnership thing, especially in the U.S., is interesting.
And then if there's movement at the top, there's always movement below that. There's a massive trickle down.
Yeah. I cannot see Kristen and Taryn ever splitting.
I can't.
And,
no, they won't.
And I can't see Sarah and Kelly splitting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who Sarah could pick up that would be equal to Kelly, and I don't know, same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, I mean, Therese and Meg seem like they have a great dynamic.
Megan Kraft.
Yeah.
Megan Kraft is
pick up
good. Yeah.
I don't know by who, but
I'm sold on Megan Kraft. Yeah, I'm
pretty solid for long
And
enough.
she's
hammering
been
that
so
stock.
good
And
for
then
so long.
now
Yeah.
she's going to be out of college soon.
She's out.
She's out. Okay.
Yeah.
So now she doesn't have that on her plate. Now you got a full-time Megan Kraft, and that's kind of
Full-time
scary.
defender
Yeah.
now.
Right. And you know she knows how to defend.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess Meg's already broken out. But if we had to pick an American player to break out, like break out, I'd pick Meg.
Right.
Because, I think she's good.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Do you think I don't want to bring back, we just did the league episode, but the league, they would never draft individual players. Like, they would never have that kind of power to, like,
Yeah.
like they would draft
Oh,
teams, right? Like, it would never be like, oh, we want these two people
I
to
think
play
that-
together.
I
mean, do they
wouldn't
have
be
that kind of
surprised.
power?
Yeah, it could
I
be
would-
fun. That
I
could
mean-
be fun.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I think what it would come down to it is if it became profitable to do it that way, where now you're bidding for players and stuff like that. And imagine how much money, like if you get the right ownership groups
Yeah.
involved, some people are crazy and they'll be throwing down crazy amounts of money to get this player. Maybe that all that money goes into a pot and it's like, okay, now we're making it worth it. Also, if you have multiple teams, right? So if you draft 4 players, now you can mix and match them as a general manager of that team and stuff. It's all on the table, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
We're just making
that'd be
stuff up.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. Blue sky face, always.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it true? I've been hearing rumors about the FIVB, or like maybe it's not the FIVB, but like I think it is, making it more open for different countries to play together.
I feel like I've heard that
Like,
idea
yeah,
tossed
like more
around.
Style. Have you
I've heard
Yeah.
that as well.
I've heard it tossed around, and I think if they were to tinker with it, now's the time. I think that it might be kind of a mess with federations who, like
That'll be a
USA,
massive
pays
mess.
their athletes to go win medals for the USA. They don't pay their athletes to go win a medal for USA in Norway.
Yeah.
And they would have to revert back to it for Olympic qualifying unless they change the system.
Yeah.
But I think if you have like specialty events or exhibitions where you mix it up, that could be fun.
Yeah. Well, more and more people are splitting and going with different countries for the king and queen of the court.
Yeah, it's like a hall
which is
pass.
Really cool. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
a hall pass.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Alex Brower, that dude's living his best life right now. He's gardening, playing a little golf. Oh, I'll play with Phil Dahlhauser this weekend.
Oh,
Very
is
good.
it Phil? Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, just hall pass weekends.
Love
That's
it.
how I was happy when people did that in Hermosa when they played with someone just different from a different country. I was like, yeah, use your hall pass. Get away from your partner. Everyone use a week away.
For sure.
It was cool to see that in Hermosa. That
Yeah.
was fun.
Like Tina and Julia. Like that was fun to see. And
Well,
then
they're
Betsy
buddies,
playing
too.
with Wilhelmina, and it
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, sick. Someone said, can you describe what the culture of beach volleyball is like in the USA program?
I think that's kind of, well, you're in the dev program,
Yeah. Mhm.
and you've been in the elite side.
I've been in every program.
Yeah.
Indoor and beach.
Yeah, you start then. I'll
The
go.
culture. What is the culture of the program?
I guess this is a good, like, you can talk about, like, the dynamics. Like, obviously you go to McHale and stuff, but, like,
Mhm.
the dynamics of all of us being competition, then you go in the gym together. Like, there's all kinds of...
Yeah, I'd say-
we play the weirdest sport ever.
I'd say there's a system.
Yeah.
There's a system in place, and you can make yourself, by getting enough points, you make yourself, plug in somewhere in that system. In terms of team culture, that's just not the way the system's built, in my opinion. There's no, other teams aren't cheering for each other, helping each other. Obviously, like the staff, trainers and administration and weight coach and all that are kind of cheering for everyone. They just want medals, and they're just trying to help everyone. But I personally think the word culture, the way that I like it, I think it lacks. It lacks culture in that way. But with that being said, it's the highest level, maybe the highest level governing body, not in terms of coaching and like producing like high level volleyball coaches and like drills and like us training together. I think other countries are way ahead of us in that way. But in terms of the weight room, the stipends, the travel support, the treatment we're getting, they're sending ATCs or Kairos on every trip, and I think they're taking care of us in a big way and very helpful. Like a lot of us are playing AVP, but using USA Volleyball to train ourselves, and with the ice baths and saunas, and we can use it year round. It doesn't have to be just World Tour season. So the word culture, I think it kind of lacks that team culture. For me is bringing all the people that are in that place together and like working together, some synergy there, and I think it lacks that, especially from the player standpoint. But it's a high level sports developmental machine, and I'm grateful for it. It's been great. You can always say what could be better and what not. The developmental program, it's kind of like been separated from the pros, which I always thought was a really amazing idea, is to bring the top level everyone's pros, I guess, at this level, but the top level players in with the developmental players and blend them together. It was really helpful for me early on when I was in that program with Jeff Alzina. But they've kind of separated as of late, and then there's also some like somewhat questionable, like they're bringing in kind of whoever they want, and you could definitely argue that they don't have all the right people in the gym or in the program. And then I mean, I guess that's it. There's always like things you can complain about, but at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of countries out there and players out there in the world that would love to play and be a part of our program. And I think we have probably the best one. Arguably.
I mean, the amount of resources that USA gives its athletes relative to most federations is pretty big. Yeah. But you've been in the dev program. How's your experience been?
I've been in the dev program. So my situation was kind of funky. I was in email correspondence with Sean Scott like right after I graduated, and was like, can I get in the gym? Can I start getting resources? This is what I want to do. And once Miles Cooper, the strength and conditioning coach, was hired, I was able to get in there. Because at the time it was with like Evan, Tony Rodriguez, and Logan Weber. We were all kind of in that same little group.
Right.
And then they hired Jose for the dev group, and like now it's Scott Davenport. And so I'm still a part of it, but it was kind of weird because I had already been like with the USA group in the gym getting the resources. Then they did the dev group, and then I joined the dev group because for the girls, it's a pretty strong group. Right now it's me and Abby, Kylie DeBerg, Haley Harward, Lexi Denneberg, Deanna Kraft, and there's more girls. Like they have, so Lonnie comes, Tony comes, and they have a couple like Rachel Kramer's going. They're trying to get her on the beach. There's a couple other girls that are newer to beach that they're trying to like get in. The women's side's different because we have such a strong talent coming out of college. The men is tough because they're pulling like a lot of indoor guys that like they're like we don't know if he's gonna like
they're throwing some Hail Marys right?
And some of them like maybe Derek that might take off, and other ones who knows, like guys develop so much later. Some of these guys are like 19, 20 years old, so it's like guys develop so much later sometimes too. But yeah, it's definitely a weird dynamic because we're like, especially being in the dev group, we're like on this little team, we're in the same group chat, and we don't have to go every day, but like we're there pretty consistently. And it's weird because then you like train against these girls every day, and then you play against them, and it's like us playing against Haley and Kylie in the Chicago League determining game was like wild because we know each other so well, and like we're friends too. So it's like, I mean, I feel like I'm friends with most people, but like we see them all the time. So it's a weird dynamic when you have to play against them. But yeah, like you said, culture is a weird word because like when you think of team culture, you think of like your college team or like where you're like all like working towards a common goal, which we all are working towards a common goal, but against each other. So it's like kind of messed up. Like I don't know.
We commonly
as their friend,
have selfish goals.
Yeah, like Lexi Denneberg is one of my great friends, but it's like I have to play against her all the time. It's like I want nothing but like success for her, unless it's against me, and then unless it's like, we're competing for money and for points and for the Olympics. Like it's such a weird. But everyone kind of respects and understands that as well. Like no one's dumb. Like no one no one thinks like pretty differently than that. But yeah, the gym is interesting too. When you go in the USA facility, it's the gym, it's the You get the massage and treatment. You can go ice bath, sauna, all these things, meetings, film, all this stuff. And so you see a whole array of people in there. And it is fun to go in there and see everyone, like see the male players, see the female players. And it is the culture in there seems pretty good. Like when you're there, like the energy's pretty high. They're always playing music. Everyone seems like good friends and whatever. It's like our sport's just weird. Like you practice. I was just telling someone this yesterday. I think it was Severin from USA. You practice against each other. You know, you set up practices, and then you play against each other pretty frequently, so you know each other really well. And then you go and like party together after. It's just such an interesting dynamic that takes adjusting. But then once you are in it, then it's kind of just what it is. So.
Yeah. It strains your relationships. Like you have to really work to like keep those relationships strong and not build up that animosity and whatnot.
Yeah, I remember when 1440 was running a dev program, sort of very similar to what USA is trying to do now. And I was in it, and I was sick one day, and Stein was running it, Stein Metzger at the time, and I was like, yo, I can't make it. And he's like, well, you should still come and hang out and watch and cheer on your teammates. And I was like, no. I'm not going to do that.
Teammates?
And he's like, no, like we're going to build this into a team culture. I was like, buddy, this isn't UCLA.
Yeah.
I don't care if they get better.
Right. Yeah. Until the system changes. That's the thing. The USA is feeding into it, which like, I'm not trying to say it's bad. They're paying and keep providing all these great resources. But like when my resources takes away from someone else's, like you're just not going to get that culture, that team dynamic, and you have to change the whole system to do so. Obviously the World Tour doesn't feed into that. The way that USA Volleyball gets their funding, I don't think feeds into that, you know. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, and I appreciated what Stein was trying to do. I was like,
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm not. Go cheer them on. Why? I'm not going to fake it, and I don't want them to get better or win.
No.
Then so what am I doing?
Well, it's interesting. You see, like I always wonder what the other countries' like systems are like, because you see like the Japanese girls, they're out there like warming each other up and genuinely cheering each other on. They're like the sweetest people ever. But you're like,
we talked about it.
There's two like top, like
no, we talked about it when the Dutch guys were on. They're like, they were like kind of like surprised about like how we all are against each other all the time. They're genuinely like cheering for each other.
Yeah.
Not in tournaments. They definitely like want to beat their other guys, but like they have culture. Mm-hmm. Like they are one team. The Netherlands. They want to rise to the top. Those two guys are
great, by the the
Yeah.
Oh, Leon and Ruben?
They're so awesome.
Awesome.
They were great when they came out here.
Yeah.
And I got to give Leon some love too. So they played bad. They barbecued, lost, which I was shocked by.
Yes.
They're freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, they're good. And I think that jet lag, different ball, which switching balls, it's hard. Welcome to the American life.
Yep.
But Leon texts me after they lose, and he's like, hey, we got the wild card. I'm so sorry that we didn't perform. Can I run a clinic? Can I do, what can I do to promote this tournament? And I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Just go party.
Yeah. And it is so great because I saw them on Saturday, which was the finals. I was like, oh, did you guys make it out at the player party? And Ruben was like, yeah. He's like, when can we do it again? I was like, tonight. Yeah. Waterman's. Run it back, boys. But they had such good spirit even after they lost. They were just like, how can we make this event great for everyone else? I was like, you guys are awesome.
They were so funny. They were calling Waterman's like a club. They're like, people wear flip-flops to the club. I'm like, that's Hermosa Beach.
Yeah.
That's Hermosa Beach.
Yeah.
Anyways, totally switching gears, but the challenge system. So someone asked, why doesn't the AVP have a challenge system? I think we were spoiled with the Olympics being able to watch
just
people
expensive.
challenge stuff.
I think everyone would want it. There's no reason to not want it. Same reason we don't have linesmen for some matches.
Yeah. Same reason we don't have FIVBs.
Yeah, it just costs a lot to get the bird's eye or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Just as a rule of thumb, whenever you guys have a question of why don't we have something, money is the answer.
Yeah, Troy Field might be getting called on some of those throw things.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been a victim of that yet?
No, I haven't. It's pretty smart. I think Phil used to do that too. Yeah.
Really?
Phil was the first one to talk about it, where he's obviously bigger too, so he'll yeah, just kind of grab it and like hold it and wait for you,
Yeah.
not be able to reach it, and then throw it back. Is it legal? Is the question.
I was wondering, and actually we're gonna have a couple refs in soon, and I'm gonna ask them about
save it
that
for them.
But because the one that he just did with Miles in the first week of the league, Miles was touching it the whole time,
That's completely.
and then
legal,
Troy
yeah.
pushed it. So I thought that one was legal, but there are a couple of them where Troy's just like, "And sorry," and then he throws it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just
I
too
think-
cool to call.
Yeah, unless you do it blatantly like that.
Yeah.
Like, what if nobody's up?
Yeah,
Like, if no one's up and you can't do it, then you can't do it.
yeah, because
with the
Hendrick
guy.
got called on that. I think at European Champs or maybe German Tour or something.
You shouldn't be able to bring it back.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, like, if you want rules, because they just. When I was first playing, you couldn't even do the redirect,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now it's okay, we can redirect, but like, it's like a setting. Like, you can't go backwards and then forward. You go.
Yeah.
You can start back and catch it here and then go.
Yeah.
But like to go grab it on their side, bring it back, and that's a throw.
Yeah.
That's a throw.
This is why you don't win jousts. You just half jump and lose on your side on purpose.
I only lose jousts when I think I'm blocking, which usually means that it was a throw. Like they pressed into me because
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna hit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fair enough. I know, because the challenge system was so cool to watch at the Olympics,
have.
where they would like pause it and go around. That was the coolest
sick.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Never we're spoiled.
Good to
with
have.
that's called a lot of money.
that.
Yeah. They're expensive.
You think some of the refs have like been on Instagram and seen Troy's videos,
For sure.
Like,
Oh,
have
for
to.
sure. They talk
for
about
sure.
it all the time.
Yeah.
and then they just. But in game, it's tough to see. Like it's tough to tell.
It's funny how personally
live.
refs take it. Like
Yeah.
they want to, if they see you later that day, they want to go talk about that
They do.
call.
They
with
do.
you.
They do.
A
Yeah.
lot.
I know. Oh.
Refs on the AVP, FIVB refs,
Oh,
they're
no.
not.
No,
They're,
they don't even want to talk to you in
that is
moment.
a separation of church and state there.
Yep.
I always loved in
Yellow
Bulgaria.
card.
I would have a discussion with the refs and they'd say, not possible. I was like,
Impossible.
wait, but was this W?
Impossible.
Not possible. And then he motioned me back to serve receive.
Yeah, it's
Me
not
and
even
Delaney
worth.
say that all the time. Like,
not
is
even
dinner
worth-
ready? And Delaney go, not possible.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, I love her. What NBA players would make for the best AVP players?
We talked about this on Bert
Yeah, we did.
on his show. My first draft pick was Steph Curry.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
he's
such
a skill
Freaking
player,
athlete.
right?
Giannis.
He's got. I think Steph Curry's just like a savant in touch.
Yeah,
so like he'd
so
probably have some crazy shots and whatnot. And he's not that short. It's funny. He came out with the TV show and like Steph's so short. He looks like he's 6'6".
Yeah.
Next to actors all the time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of silly. They're all such freak athletes. Most of them are freak athletes.
Yeah.
A guy that touches 13 feet, like, what do you do?
Insane.
Oh, I bet Jokic would be so good because he's so coordinated.
Yeah, he'd be great.
Yeah.
He doesn't jump that high.
Doesn't need to.
Doesn't need to. Well, unless he's going up against like I don't know, Giannis or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Jokic could be kind of a Stefan Borman's type. Just real coordinated, smooth.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just put two monsters out, like a Kevin Durant on defense. Like, it'd be like
That's like Cuba.
Yeah, like
Jocelyn.
where he's just as skilled, like a point guard, but
Yeah.
he's in the backcourt. He just falls down and can reach
Yeah.
the whole court. Kevin Durant behind Giannis. There's my team.
Dude.
Kevin Durant and Giannis versus Jokic and Steph Curry.
I'll
Did you
take
guys
my
see?
team.
You were definitely there at during the Manhattan finals. It must have been the soccer team came out and played volleyball. They were so impressive, like playing volleyball. I was like, how are you guys so good at this? Like they were so athletic and so impressive and could actually like pass the ball, set the ball, hit the ball. I was like, wow, all these athletes are.
If you can do it with your
Impressive.
feet, you should be able to do it with your
Yeah.
hands, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then like Anna Patricia in the Olympics heading balls
Yeah,
and
that was
she's
gnarly.
passing
awesome.
off her chest.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
In the final.
She's so good at it.
That was
She
swag.
do that because she takes it with her head because it's too slow to open hand dig it. Like why does she like
A little bit, probably just intimidation. Like, I'm do it because they can.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be some of that to it.
so good?
And like, yeah, I mean, some situations, if it's coming right there, it's a pretty good platform.
Yeah. And I think it's actually pretty hard. If you're pool and you're anticipating hard driven and it's a shot and you're like kind of jammed like that, you're like, oh God. I think sometimes heading it might be easier.
Might be better if you're not wearing a
but
hat.
you just have to have the reps. And like Brazzi's grew up playing football, so yeah, with the hat, that's the bad part.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Forwards hat.
And she's good at it. Why not?
Dude, she's such a beast. That was insane. We had a lot of jump setting questions on here. That was a big one for today.
Jump setting's great if you're good at it.
Yeah.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When will we see the Russians back on the world tour?
Ooh. Man, I tried.
No idea.
I was talking to Oleg. I was trying to get him to play Hermosa, but he said it's impossible for them to get a visa. Like they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
So now they're stuck playing snow volley and the Russian tour.
Sure, they're making good money.
I'm sure they're doing all right.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. I would love to see them back. Imagine how different the Olympics would have been if you had Oleg and Krasilnikov and Leshikov and Semenov. Those are two elite teams.
Yeah.
And the women have a pretty good team, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. What's something that each of us are proud of this season?
Wholesome. Ooh, that is a wholesome one.
Wholesome.
Sav, you want to lead off?
Sure.
You got a lot to choose from. You had a great season.
And it's like been so like with the whole league thing, that's kind of overtaken like all of my emotions. But it was like my best season on tour, so
yeah.
I'm happy. We won Denver, and we won Virginia Beach. Obviously not full fields, and it doesn't feel the same as maybe a true AVP win, but like a win is a win, and that was big for us. And then we beat Kelly and Sarah, which was really big post Olympics. We beat Anouk and Joanna. That was a big one for Abby and I. Won in Orsaka. That's always fun. So yeah.
Orsaka Adventures.
Overall, a great season for us.
Yeah,
Overall,
I agree.
Good stuff. And then I got engaged. So that's the biggest win so far.
Yeah,
it's been great.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
love that.
Tribal.
What's the question?
What are you most proud
of?
Yeah.
Volleyball wise, it's been tough. I think I just set the bar really high. I think most proud of, I guess, just like rolling with the punches kind of thing, and then I don't know. I don't really have any regrets. I'm most proud of, just rolling with the punches, I guess. I actually pretty proud of just the partner decision thing. I think it was the right choice for me. I knew that I was putting myself in a tough position from a business standpoint and volleyball standpoint in terms of chances of not making the league after having that third with Cam. But if I knew that was going to happen anyway, I wasn't going to waste my time. It was the right decision from the heart, I think. So I'm glad that I'm making decisions from that kind of headspace. Despite the repercussions.
Yeah. I think you making the decision just on gut instinct. And when you made that decision, you're like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you feel good about volleyball in a while.
Right.
And you did that and you're like, oh, this is nice.
Right. Yeah,
I'm going to go to Tahiti now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Tahiti Tri was back. Yeah, it was good to see. I think that was some of the best headspace I've seen you in volleyball in a long time.
When I was not playing and in Tahiti.
Well, when you made the decision, and then you come back from Tahiti, Montana. I was like,
good.
Oh, this is a fun try.
Yeah, you gotta. It's harder as you get further into your career to find the motivation. You've been there, done that for everything. I'm super. I've always said it I said it originally I'm ADD, right? I just want new stuff. I really do. I love variety. Even when I'm eating things, I don't want to eat the same thing over and over. Yeah. I love variety and switching it up, and I need a new stimulation or something, So if I don't feel like I'm growing, even though Cam was an amazing partner, we actually did play high level volleyball, depending on who you want to compare to. It's I'm not growing, and I don't think I'm helping you grow. And I can't sit in this stagnantness, even though we could have got another third or a fifth or even a seventh and still qualified for the league. I just had to do it.
Right.
It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my answer.
Yeah. Did something for you.
Yeah.
I was proud of you.
Appreciate that.
And yeah, I mean, I just took a new career path
Yeah.
and just kind of dove into it. Did what I've done the last 10 years, just winged it the whole way.
Yeah, another gut decision. It felt right.
Yeah, I think, I've made a lot of big sort of like nonsensical moves in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like moving from Maryland to Florida was the hardest, but also the easiest thing I had to do. Because on paper, it made like no sense for me to stay in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I was at like a newspaper that was failing and would go bankrupt 6 months after I left, but all my friends and family were there. But moving from Florida to California, it was just like this gut instinct to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes no sense. Like I had this awesome life in Florida, a great career,
Right.
and came out to California. It worked out, and then gut instinct was like, don't really feel like playing.
Yeah.
Let's see what coaching has in store. And now has
Here we
Tallahassee in
Completely
store.
different though, because this time you're making a decision with a family.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, you still gotta follow your gut, but like it's got to be Delaney's decision equally.
yeah, yeah. And Delaney, and she knew, like, she kind of had that same feeling I did when we got the offer. She's like, we can't not make it make sense.
Right.
It's like all of it adds up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it was easy, but it was like at some point something is pulling me there.
Mm-hmm.
And especially after going there for a week, like I was walking this train this morning, I was like, I actually can't wait to get back.
Yeah.
Like I'm so
That's
stoked to get
so
back.
cool.
And
It feels right
Yeah.
for you from my perspective too. It's like,
Yeah.
this is
So cool.
perfect.
yeah,
Travis got to go.
Yeah.
Got to release him into the wild.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's time.
peacock. Let me fly.
He's gotta let him
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Do we have time for more?
We have one more if you want. It's a good finishing note too. Is there another?
That was
Is there a good
finishing.
one? Yeah.
There's no. I think
that's
that's a good
that's a
finish.
good
Fans
finishing
need to
note.
step up their questions a little. We're just gonna end on that one. No, I'm just joking.
No,
You guys did great, actually. We had a lot of questions
the
last two.
We had
A lot of
enough.
questions.
We recorded 2 episodes out of these fan questions, and we had enough that we could have probably done 5 more.
Yeah.
And so you guys are great. We love you. This has been the biggest year the podcast has ever had.
Yeah, on video and audio,
Yeah.
and
We did a SANDCAST tour event.
We're reinvesting. We're leaning into it, people. The growth is going to continue, but we need the fans, so we appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Love you guys. Need the sponsors. Wilson,
Sponsors.
We love you.
Sponsors are carrying us.
Yeah. AG1.
We don't have the sponsors. We're not reinvesting
Yep.
and all this. So.
And Frito would be sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Sav, thank you, as always.
Thanks,
Good
Sav.
to be back as always.
Thank you, fans. This will be the last in-person fan queue we do for a while.
For a little bit.
Cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be back. I mean, recruiting's here during the summer, so we'll be back.
Yeah. You guys will be fine.
Can't stay
Don't
away
worry.
for
Yeah.
too long.
We'll take care of you guys.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
Shoots.
Shoots.